Welcome back, guys, to Most Amazing Top 10. My name is Danny Burke, and people around the world are now coming to terms, for better or for worse, with the idea of having a US President Trump until 2020. But in that year, if he wants to stay president, he will have to run for re-election. So, who will he be competing against if he wants to keep his job in the White House? We've got the top 10 people who might run for 2020 presidency here for you now. Now, some of them might sound a little bit strange, but hey, people said that about Donald Trump a few years ago, and look where we are now. Alright, at number 10, we're going to start where the 2016 election finished, with Hillary Clinton. Now, I've heard some people ask if she is even allowed to try and run for president after failing in 2008 and 2016. Well, she is, technically, but the questions are, does she even want to, and does she stand a chance? Hillary has not confirmed or denied that she will try for a third time at being the president, but it seems like her chances of winning are slim right now. Some say the reasons she lost are more to do with her as a person rather than her policies. Policies can obviously change over the years, but you can't really change who you are, you can't really wipe the American public's memory of you, and even if she somehow does, well, that's only going to make things worse for people who said she wasn't very trustworthy to begin with. Moving on to number 9 now, we have Ivanka Trump. Donald Trump's daughter had a big role in supporting his presidential campaign. She was the one who introduced him at his campaign kickoff, and then a year later, she did the same at the Republican National Convention, where he formally accepted the party's nomination. On that occasion, she gave a rousing speech where she praised her dad, but also said that, like many people of her age group, she does not consider herself a Republican or a Democrat, and that sometimes it can be a tough choice. This has got people saying that she could be the one to bridge the gap between Republicans and millennials, young women and Democrats. It might sound crazy, but could the daughter of Trump, the man who has polarized so many, be the one to bring them all together if her dad does stand down in 2020? Next up at number 8, we have George Clooney. Megastar actor George Clooney has been very open about his liberal views and his support for the Democratic Party over the years, as well as being the face for a number of big campaigns to end poverty or repair war-torn areas in the world such as Darfur. It's common knowledge that he is good friends with Barack Obama and has spoken highly of his leadership qualities. Now, this may have inspired him, if the rumours are true, to potentially run for governor of California in 2018. And if he does that and he ends up winning that and becoming the governor of the most populated state in the US, running for president may only be a stone's throw away. Coming in at number 7 now, we have Oprah Winfrey. Now, she is arguably the most successful talk show host of all time in the world. She was also America's first multi-billionaire black person, and some assessments said she is the most influential woman in the whole world, with more credibility than the actual president. Influencing people is a valuable trait when you're running for president, so will Oprah put her influence into politics? Well, she's been asked about it before on many occasions and has firmly said she's not interested in the job. But that was before Donald Trump became president. He's been accused of being racially divisive and having controversial views on women's rights, so could 2020 be the time for the most influential black woman on the planet to channel all of her support towards the presidency? Next up at number 6 now, we have Chris Rock. Some of you guys might know him as one of the most successful stand-up comedians of all time. Chris Rock has become a familiar figure in Hollywood. On the 10th of November 2016, just 2 days after the election, he tweeted out this picture of him from the 2003 movie Head of State, which saw his character running for president after his party's original candidates died in a plane crash. The picture had hashtag #Rock2020 on it, and Chris said, "I'm gonna run in 2020, wish me luck." Now, this tweet was clearly a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but he got a lot of positive response from people urging him to do it for real. One fan even said on that tweet that he should have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as his vice president, so that their slogan could be Rock 2020. Amazing. Alright, on to number 5 now, and we have Mark Zuckerberg. Now, this one is a big maybe, but hear me out. There's been a number of online articles discussing the possibility of Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg running for president. He's only 32 years old at the time of recording, but has been involved with many global projects to end poverty, educate people, and provide the whole world with internet, giving away $1.6 billion of his own money in the process. Forbes.com speculated this activism could turn political by 2020. Over 90% of millennials will be able to vote by then, with Mark Zuckerberg himself not only being at the forefront of the social media that defined our generation, but also being a millennial himself, albeit an older one. Now in 2020 he will be 36 years old, a year older than the 35-year-old requirement to run for president. On the other hand though, it might not be a very smart business move, as he does risk alienating millions of users who might not agree with him. But there's also the fact that there will be 210 million Americans using his site by 2020. If he could even gain a fraction of their support, he might have a decent shot at being the first millennial president. Sitting at the number 4 spot now, we have the one, the only, Kanye West. Now in 2015, Kanye took to the stage to accept his MTV Lifetime Achievement Award. Now I think we all knew Kanye would probably say something a bit strange, inspiring, or maybe even controversial, but nobody expected him to announce that he was going to run for president in 2020, and that's exactly what he did. A few months later, Kanye elaborated on all of that by saying, "I don't have views on politics, I just have a view on humanity, on people, on the truth. If there is anything that I can do to somehow make a difference while I'm alive, I'm going to try to do it." Now at the moment, nobody knows what his policies will be, and to be honest, he hasn't really said much more about the whole thing, but at the moment it looks like we could really see Trump versus West 2020. And yes, you are awake. Next up at number 3, we have Lindsay Lohan. Yes, this one is unlikely to happen for a lot of reasons, but not because Miss Lohan doesn't want it to. She has made it very clear that she wants to run for president in 2020. The actress made the announcement after Kanye West made his and credited him for inspiring her. She also said Obama inspired her, fair enough, and also the Queen of England, apparently, for having her in her country. Not really sure what that means. Nobody seems to be taking her bid seriously at the moment. That might be because of her turbulent public image over the years, but I also noticed that in 2020 Lindsay will only be 34 years old, and so she will actually be a year too young to run for the presidency. Perhaps Donald Trump will change the law so that Lindsay can run for president? That's an actual sentence that just came out of my mouth. Coming in at the number 2 spot now, we have Bernie Sanders. Some people say that if Bernie Sanders had won the Democratic nomination instead of Hillary Clinton, he could have been the president instead of Donald Trump. That's not how it went, obviously, but that doesn't mean his support has disappeared. Some people say that Hillary lost because she wasn't inspiring enough, and that in 2020 Bernie could have a real shot at firing up people against Donald Trump. One of the major problems though is age. At 75 years old, he was already raising a few eyebrows during his 2016 campaign. In 2020 he'll be 79 years old, 9 years older than Trump was when he took up the presidency. Will the years of experience stand in his favour, or will people have health concerns about him? Bernie himself said 4 years is a long time from now, but he's not ruling anything out. And finally now, at number 1, we have Michelle Obama. In the wake of the 2016 election, Michelle Obama became the name on a lot of Democrats' lips as their next shot at beating Donald Trump in 2020. Hillary Clinton was a former First Lady and has now tried to run twice for the presidency, so will Michelle follow in her footsteps? Well, her fans certainly want her to. They hold up her 8 years as First Lady as good experience of the inner workings of the White House, and say that her inspiring speeches, her charity work, and being a general role model for young women puts her in good stead. Michelle has said that she has no interest in running, and that the Obamas are actually looking forward to a quiet family life from now on. But 4 years is a long time, and with Donald Trump vowing to undo a lot of her husband's work, there's still years for her to change her mind. Well guys, some of those might not be the most likely candidates for the 2020 election, but I think they're some of the most interesting to picture. A lot can change in 4 years of politics. 2016 has shown us that literally anything is possible, I think, and your guess is as good as mine. So leave your predictions in the comments section below. I'll be down there with you. My name is Danny Burke. More Most Amazing Top 10 videos can be found right over there for your viewing pleasure, and I'll see you all in the next one.